Hello everyone, how you guys doing? Welcome back to the official NickWalshTV channel. We're live once again. We are doing 3 days, at least 3 days of streaming this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, maybe Friday, and we are going to play more Spin and Goes. We are currently about 2,700 games into our 10,000 game target for this year. We are pretty far behind schedule now. As I've said in the past, in the event that we do end up being pretty far behind, it's relatively easy to catch up off stream, but when we're on stream, obviously we're trying to keep it to a lower number of tables for the content purposes. I think at the moment we are maybe like 2,000 games behind schedule, which is maybe like 10 days of intense stream if we need to, obviously not including all the sort of streams that we're going to do in between. But we're getting there, guys. We are definitely off to a slow start this year. Let's take a look at the graph so far so I can tell you a little bit more about it. So over here, guys, we have our chip graph. After the last time I saw you, so after I saw you on Thursday, I ended up playing a session on Friday pretty much all day. I think I played around 200 games, something like that. So definitely helpful to catching up to our 10K total. It was a little bit up, a little bit down. It was still a very rough session, still very difficult. We did manage to win a 25x multiplier, so that goes to our overall counter over there. For those of you that have been paying attention, you know that I'm tracking our bigger spin multipliers. So to date, we have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In fact, I know what the number is. If I just do count. Oops, no, not like that. Nope, not like that. Not like that. Not like that. We have played 29 games that were a 10x multiplier or higher, 2 of which were 25x multipliers. We lost 1, we won 1. We have an overall cash in our highest multipliers of 82.76%, and we have a 58.62% win rate in our 10x multipliers or higher, which is not that far from the numbers that we were putting up for our 5K challenge last year. So we did manage to win the 25x. That was great. That was for like 500 bucks. Obviously, the $500 only slightly softening the blow on what has been a pretty tough year so far, but obviously this is just variance. We got to deal with that. The other thing that I wanted to tell you guys about, because it was very frustrating, was at some point I accidentally registered for 2 $250 games. So our overall challenge total, which is always just whatever's in the tracker, never amended, is showing a minus 250 because we ended up losing that game. What's really frustrating was I realized my mistake. I registered 2 games and I was like, why is it, that seems like a lot. I realized that I had registered for 2 250s. I unregged 1, I played 1. I ended up getting the chips in good for like 500 bucks, like 3 times, 4 times in the game. And I ran very bad and got super unlucky, and that was really frustrating because although it was an accidental registration, it would have been nice to pick up $1,000 on Friday. So as a result, my misclick cost me $250. All good, these things happen. Obviously, that's not a mistake that's going to happen often. But yes, we're making progress, guys. We are heading in the right direction, and we're going to try our best to build out of this. Obviously, all of the numbers and everything that you see here is just what's happening in real time. This does not include any of our rakeback or anything like that as well. I think this year we've made something like $1,500 in rakeback. So again, the rakeback is going a long way towards softening the blow, but we do need to basically win significantly more here because we're not winning enough chips fast enough. As I said before, I think this is just variance, so let's grind through it. Hello, everybody in the chat. Good to see you guys. Hello, Demo. Hello, Tom. Hello, Cow Chad. Good to see you. Katsietis. Hello, Dunbar. Hello. Sensitive Tony. Welcome back. Good to see you guys. So yeah, basically, we're just going to build on this, and we are going to see if we can't turn things around, because right now it's not going so hot. But we got to play more volume, so let's play some games, and let's see what we can do. So we're not going to reg for a 250. We're going to reg for a 25. Okay, Tuesday grind. Let's see what we can do. Breastcore, friend of the stream. Vic on the right, unknown player. See if we can sneak in the 10-9 here. Guess not. Hello, Tom. Good to see you, mates. I know I already gave you a shout out, but Thank you for the good lucks. The shove from Breastcore here is obviously super standard. Say obviously, it might not be obvious. The Jack 10 suited is definitely a good jam there. It's going to be GTO. We're going to try and play this pot. The big blind is an under raise here, so we do get to sneak in here without any concern for this guy waking up with a big hand. And then I suppose we will put in a small value bet here. Set of fives is going to take it. Okay, min raise call. Not the worst flop. I think we can probably just start with a small bet. We'd love him to call with overcards and stuff like that. Very obviously going to be getting this money in the middle regardless, so we can kick things off like that. Lovely stuff. And then Breastcore just for the 2.6 bigs. You know, get the chips in, try and realize our equity of our hand for the small stack there. And queens, of course, was a nice hand, usually. All right, lovely, good game. That was a $50 game. During Friday's session offline, we did manage to aggregate a fair amount of EV. I mean, it was still a very, very brutal session for us overall, but we recovered from Thursday's fairly catastrophic session. Thursday was a particularly tough one for us on stream, and yeah, we ended up in pretty rough shape. We ended up down a fair amount and our EV was plummeting, but we managed to recover the majority of that EV in the graph that you guys just saw. So 6-7 suited is going to be close. Is it 6-7? I always forget this one. We're going to mark that one for review. I think it's 8-7 is the open. 6-7 is like 50% there. As we're getting shallower, I think it comes out. We'll mark that one for review just to double check. I always get that one wrong. We're hovering around the 15 big blind mark. Mark for review. That one's not going to fly. Can every game continue like that? That would be nice. A couple easy decisions. That would be a treat, wouldn't it? Blind be blind. This is a pretty nice flop. All right, so if we were going to bluff, we would probably want to use something like this. We will keep in some king highs and stuff like that if we use this size as well. I mean, obviously the float there is something that we'll do with a fair number of combinations that are not a 6 or an ace. And we're in. Hello, Emil Lundby. Thanks for basically teaching me everything I know just by watching your old sit and go videos on YouTube. That's my pleasure, mate. No problem at all. Hey, bots, thank you very much for the follow. Unlucky there in the all in. The Jack 10 is definitely a call. Blind v blind. Excuse me. Yeah, we're obviously getting this one in. I expect him to be fairly strong in this spot when he min raises into the short stack there, especially when this guy has like 10 bigs or whatever, but King Queen is too high up in our range to fold. Like, I'm not surprised with that he has jacks there. It's not unusual. That min raise into a short stack and a very short stack is going to be exceptionally strong. These are the games you dread. Two really good players. Two long-standing confirmed super regs. I mean, I think I've played over 5,000 games with over 5,000 hands, excuse me, with King of Poker. Probably in the thousands for new Pagodi. I always call him New Podig. I hope it makes you happy. Let's do this one as a 2.4. Top pair situation. Yeah, there's a fair amount of raise bluffing on this flop. We're obviously not getting away from a king here. I think we just call and try and get the chips in on the turn if possible. Having this 5 is fairly relevant. 5-6 is obviously sort of a concern, but like, you know, what are we really gonna do here? Interesting turn now. If he shoves this river, I am suddenly very concerned. Like, if he did have a bluff on this flop, there's a fair amount of it that just gives up. Some of his bluffs are meant to be like hands like Jack 10 of diamonds and like, you know, 10-7 of diamonds and stuff like that as well. So I don't know. I think at the stack depth, we're just going to play our hand like we can't fold. But, you know, it's just one of those things. Like I said, backdoor clubs, backdoor diamonds. This is all relevant. This is all important to the equation. I think there's a fair amount of hands that kind of just commit. He ends up having the clubs with the deuce blocker. So, you know, raising that backdoor flush draw on a king high dry texture, very good. Like, this is probably textbook. And then obviously the idea being that he's going to continue barreling when he picks up equity a fair amount. He can continue barreling without equity as well. You know, obviously it can be air balls, but when he ends up having the deuce and he barrels off there, you know, this is a thing. Yeah, super frustrating. I feel like this is a great example of what we've been sort of dealing with for this downswing that we've been encountering this year. Lots of very solid poker, pretty reasonable action, and then we get him down to 9 big blinds. We shove a hand we're always going to shove, and he just has us dominated. And it's spots like this that's costing us a lot of EV, and it's like not because we're doing something wrong necessarily. It's just because we're like running into it constantly. The other day I put in we played like 200 games on Friday or whatever it was. And the method of, or the frequency of, just getting through those hands was quite cathartic for me because, you focus a lot less on those spots when you are playing, 3 tables, 4 tables. It's just like, it's just been going on for a long time. This year, I feel like for all the good decisions we've made and all the good poker that we've played, there's 3 more spots like that where we're just running into it. For a huge portion of the chips in play, it's going to look bad on the graph, even though we're doing something that's 100% confirmed, good. Emil is asking, could you explain why pro spin and go players always prefer profitable chip EV over dollar profits? So it's not that they're separate. Obviously, the objective is to get dollar profit. But Emil, the idea being that because we're playing a game that is essentially without ICM, every single chip sort of has a theoretical value, right? Because if we're playing winner take all, it's basically like, the total dollars invested divided by total chips in play. So it gets a bit more complicated because our pool now has, variable prize pools and stuff, but you can still roughly estimate what the value of a single chip is, and it averages out, a fair amount. Let me play this hand. This is an interesting spot. Easy game should probably bet this flop and this turn often. What is interesting about this hand is a lot of the ace combos are just played as jams blind v blind, so he actually doesn't have an ace here as often as you might think. What's very problematic is when he does this, he could actually have hands like king queen, king 10. We could be calling with king high and actually be out kicked still where he's bluffing. But yeah, Emil, it's not that they're separate. It's just that your chip EV is a much better indicator of long-term profitability than just dollars over a short sample. So what do I mean by that? If I were to play 1,000 spinning goes, and then you were to say, hey Nick, how are the spinning goes going? And I went, well, I'm up like $2,000, so like I must be doing really well. It's not really a good indication of your long-term profitability at all, because you could have had a couple really big spins. You could have just had a really sick run of cards and you just won more spins than you probably should in the long run. You were just running good. You could be down dollars and you could be playing perfect spinning goes, and over 1,000 games, the dollars don't really give you any reasonable indication of what you are going to win over a much larger sample, which is what's required to actually get to like true profitability. It's kind of like, we're becoming the house, as it were, right? Like casinos will calculate what their EV is in games, and if they're down over the course of a month, that's not an indication that the game is broken or like, the roulette wheel has stopped working or something like that. It just means that they were running bad and the punters were running good, So if we track our chip EV and we work out what our average chip EV is over time, the average chip EV over a large sample will be a very, very strong indicator of your long-term profitability. And I know it seems a bit like pie in the sky and like, okay, well, if there's that much variance, then like, how are you ever going to know? After you've played as many spinning goes as I have and many of my peers have, that was unlucky. What you do is you start to realize how close to reality it gets. Now, some people will have years where they just run super hot. Some people have years where they run really badly. Some people will hit that super omega jackpot and they'll win that and they'll be up like $1 million, right? The majority of spin and go players track chip EV because it is a very strong profitability of long-term ROI. And then what they do is they negate the largest spinning goes that you can win. So they assume that you're not going to hit a jackpot because most people won't. And then they, negate the 0.01% or like, it's actually not as big as you think. The biggest multipliers make up a very small portion of the total games that you're expected to play. And so at the end of each month, if I'm talking to another spinning go player, I can say, what's your chip EV this month? And they'll say, oh, it's 19 or whatever, or like 25 or, whatever the number is, depending on where you live. And I can say this guy is doing something right. And that has actually been luck adjusted. So it's pre-adjusted. So chip EV is luck adjusted chips. and over a sample of say 5,000 games or something, you should be able to. A good Spin and Go player should be able to show you a graph that resembles something like what their true chip EV is over that sample. In the modern game, in the merged format, it might be more than 5,000 to really test, because obviously the game is much more volatile, much higher variance. But that's the sort of long answer. Spin and Go players play for profit. They play for dollar profit, but their dollar profit is very closely linked to their chip EV in the long term. Button Clicker, thank you very much for the follow. This is not the European Button Clicker. All right, good to see you, man. Thank you so much. It's very kind of you. Welcome to the stream. Hey, Pure Gill, good to see you. Okay, so sorry. Forget poker for a minute, guys. Forget poker. Me and my friend Pure Gill in the chat, as many of you will know, we've been playing Baldur's Gate, right? Very popular game. And Gilly and I last night took down Moonrise Towers, and it was glorious. It was a lot of fun. It was actually really, really, really smooth. Part of what made it smooth was Gilly, IQ 5000, placing about 25 smoke powder barrels all around the enemies as they spawned, and then we just nuked them, and it was so awesome. It was honestly incredible. Walked in, they threatened us. We threw down one fireball. The entire place exploded. Killed 95% of the enemies in play, and it was honestly one of my favorite gaming moments of all time. I wish we had filmed it. We definitely should have filmed it. Tony Warriors, good to see you, man. Thank you for the good lucks. Some people run like Nick. That's true, Tony. I shouldn't omit that. I need to remember to include that for sure. Hello, John Edwards. You know what, Master Tom? We might be getting trapped here, but I think we're gonna do this today. Little exploit, perhaps. Could be an exploit. We learn pretty quick if it's an exploit or not. I did hear that they're doing a BG2 remake, How? So, sorry. I understood that they were doing another Baldur's Gate. I didn't know it was a Baldur's Gate 2 remake. But I also heard that Larian are not involved with the production of it, which makes me a little bit nervous because they did such a good job with this game. And to be fair, I have given this game a go on my own before. It's way more fun with friends. Play Baldur's Gate with your mates. It's like it's the way Dungeons and Dragons was meant to be played, right? Magakaze, good to see you, dude. How are you, mates? Let's just show the Queen 5. It was a very serious explosion, yeah. You still have so many barrels? Okay, so Gilly, what I want to do, by the way, we need to find a source for bottles of water. I want to do this trick that I saw with lightning spells and bottled water. It actually looks incredible if you can get it right, and I actually think being a bit stealthy with it might be kind of fun. I might finally have a use for Astarion. He'll be official water bottle thrower. A7 is definitely a push here. A7 suited is a slam dunk push for 10 big blinds. And there was a jack on that river as well, chat. Did you guys see that? There was a jack on that river after there was an ace on the flop. Didn't spot that. There was a 5 on that river. Some people do run like Nick. All right. Yeah, ace 9 for sure. Nayama Sensei, hello. Good to see you. Larian have said no more Baldur's Gate games. They're all Divinity. So I don't know if I ever played Divinity. In fact, wait, where's my Steam library? I think I might have downloaded something like that before. And what was it called? Maybe it was Divinity. It might have been Divinity Final Sin or something like that. Let's get another game going while we're opening up Steam. So library, it was... I'm gonna bluff the turn. 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's do this, and then we can get up to... I'll shove the river if we need to. Simplify that one. What was it called? Oh no, it was Pillars of Eternity. So Pillars of Eternity is another, what's it called? Isometric RPG. I think isometric is the word, right? Yeah, isometric. It's an isometric RPG, and it was, but it was very, 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 very story driven, less graphical. I'd say it was still a very beautiful game, but I fired it up and I think I played for about an hour, and then basically forgot that it existed. The wait is over. Turn-based mode for original Pillars of Eternity is now live. Oh. Seems things have happened since last. There's been a lot happening in there for a while. I might have to give that another go, but it's more fun playing with your friends. Hey, Mr. Swain, good to see you. You running a little bit better now. No. But we're in a good headspace today, so we're going to see what we can do. So ace 8, we can limp here. If this guy rips, I think ace 8's probably still good enough to call. I'd say probably that's the case. So it was Divinity Original Sin, but actually it was Pillars of Eternity that I was thinking of. We're going to value bet this river. Mr. Swain wanted to push Jack 10. What did we miss? What did we miss, Jack 10? So the Jack 10 is a push, but we're playing against an unknown player, so we're trying to dial down the variance here a little bit, Mr. Swain. It was an intentional maneuver, an intentional adjustment. So this one will be a 4x ISO. We're only going to do that like 10% of the time, something like that. Heads up for $75. We can sneak in a little trap with the ace 9. This guy seems to be kind of pushy when we limp, right? Perhaps not. Perhaps I was wrong. I'd say probably betting turn is going to be okay here. Like the four, I'm not expecting a 4 or deuce to fold, but I also expect this player to represent their 4 and their deuce quite frequently, so he might deny some equity. Potentially value betting as well if they call with gut shots and flush draws and stuff like that too. King deuce of spades. Let's see a flop, baby. Again, king high with the gut shot. I don't think we need to bet this board. Same kind of deal. This time around, you know, the tray and the 5 probably less likely to represent their hand from out of position. Little value bet on the river. Jack 10 of spades. We can limp here. If they do shove, we're technically supposed to call. I think probably in the 3x multiplier, we'll just play our equity here. I do anticipate that he will have some shoves like this as well, which is obviously good for the limp trap. We're very unlucky. We're very, very unlucky in this game. So the Jack 10, if we were to look that one up, the Jack 10 of spades limp call, it's going to be textbook. We don't want to do that against players who we don't know, who we think are going to be significantly more passive. So far, we obviously immediately indicated that we thought this player was being particularly pushy versus limp. Perfect example, good adjustment, good call, gut shot river. Nick loses. Zintex, thank you, thank you, thank you. This is for $125. We have a player... okay. We have a player marked in blue who we've obviously encountered a small amount, and the player we don't know. These are the games. These games are particularly valuable because there are literally more chips in play, and we're playing against unknown players, which is usually good. Mr. Swain says, I would have pushed ace-9 off. Pushing ace-9 off is approved, 100% mate. Again, we're trying to make adjustments for specific players. So the Jack 10 limp was specifically for that player. The ace 9 limp was specifically to trap that player, the same player that shoved 4-5 suited versus a limp when we had the Jack 10 suited just now, for that exact reason. So we're making good decisions here. We're just getting punished because poker is hard. I feel as though folding a 9 here is very, very weak. Not anymore. Now it's a very easy fold for me, but that's a spot where I think my spidey senses tell me we don't do very well, and I think we probably should just completely avoid in a game where we think we're probably going to have some good opportunities in other future games, future game simulating. Yeah, Mr. Swain, of course. It's shoving ace 9 there is going to be perfectly profitable, and I approve of it. But if we think that our opponent is going to make mistakes, then we obviously want to allow that to happen, similar to what we did with the Jack 10 suited. All right, so sixes. Let's just start with the min raise. We're happy to get the sixes all in pre-flop if needs be. Can't call here. This is gonna be fine. Yeah, this has got to go, I think. Winning flips is easy, I think. Diamonds? No. No. We can't. No. Not for you, Nick. Not for you. Not for you. Not for you, my friend. What, you thought you were going to win a flip? No. No. So just out of interest, I'm going to mark the king queen. I would be absolutely shocked if that was a mistake, but I'd like to actually see what the EV of that move is from a GTO perspective. We'll do a review session at the end of today's session if you are new today. All right, possible comeback territory. This guy limping here is pretty suspicious. Obviously, ace queen of diamonds is a slam dunk here. Oh, okay, interesting. I wonder if our friend in the button actually is being sneaky trappy here with a big hand. Oh! Oh, I see. I see. Oh, I see. Okay. I see. Okay, that makes... Yeah, okay. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Makes sense. No, it makes sense. It makes sense. Don't worry about it. It makes sense. It makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. Makes a lot of sense. 5 on the river. Yep. Airport. Yeah. Sure. Yep. Don the dude, what's up, mates? Good to see you. Oh my god, we run so bad. It's kind of gross. And that hand, it should not be doing that. Not the move. Not the move there. So technically, yes, calling some 3-bets. This is a particularly large 3-bet. And an unknown player doing it as well. Ace 10 of hearts, very fair. Ace 10 of hearts is very fair here. Technically still a folds. All right, we're quite deep stacked here. Let's start with a little raise. I'd say betting this flop is going to be okay. Some nice opportunities to barrel turns and rivers if we want to. So the guy that makes it 4x pre folds into ace king of diamonds, unfortunately. King 10, let's play more min raising here. Against this player specifically. Obviously limping the King 10 there is going to be good too. 9-6, sneak in here. Two pair on the turn. So we're not that concerned about hands like King 10 here. I'd say there's plenty of value for the 2 big blind bet barrel turn. Man, Nick, at this point, with how much positive regression you are due, your MTT ROI would probably be through the roof. You might be right there, mate. You might be right. The ace-queen suited is a fine trap there as well. I'm trying to do something specific against this player. Trying to lean on that min-raise button a bit more. Have a little bet on the flop. Six, 4, sneaking in with the limps again. I think probably betting is fine. Backdoor straight draw, backdoor flush draw as a help as well. 8 deuce off is a fold. What did I miss, Syntax? What did I miss? No, it's not. So it's actually the 8 deuce offsuit is like 1.8 or something like that. Can't remember the exact number. It's like 1.7, 1.8. So it's not the full 2 big blinds. We're gonna try and get some value on the turn. Our opponent is under 6 big blinds effective now. For $100. Cool, good game. Next game. Just imagine if I didn't have the ambassador run good. I know. Can you imagine? Imagine how bad it would be without the Team Pro button. Okay, we're gonna do one of these. This is not the best start in the world, but we are gonna bet at it anyway. And in the 3x multiplier against the reg, let's just play the push. That will be perfectly profitable. So heads up against this guy, which I have to say, De Oro is a particularly good reg. Don't want to give him too much credit, but he is pretty good. He's particularly fancy. So we roll low here. We're gonna go for a 2.5x ISO bluff. And the queen 6 limp here is good. We're not calling jams, I don't think. Don't think we have a move here. We're just going to check turn. Blind v blind spot. You're in the small blind villain with the big blind. Has one big blind behind, so 2 big blinds effective. I think it is like 1.7, 1.8, mate. Because it is bottom of the barrel and you have no fold equity. So you're essentially saying that you're always getting it in bad. Which is not usually particularly fun. It's not usually that fun. This one is going to go like this. Again, this is a very rare ISO bluff, but we are going to do it when the frequency says so. We actually rolled a literal 0 there. So let's just sneak that in and follow our rules. This one's fine to push, especially against a reg. 2 live cards is nice. Definitely will accept 2 live cards here. King Jack for sure. Can never fold for this stack depth, and he has Ace 9. Because they never have the bottom of the range, they always have the top. They always have the top, I'm afraid. Just when you think you're safe. Just when you think you're running good. Bet small on the turn. And then we're going to check here. Middle pair setup. Can't be folding yet. Ooh, might be worth a little lead on the turn here now. It's just an interesting turn. The raise is quite strong. We could very easily be getting bluffed here, but I do think that at this stack depth and in this setup, we're probably getting punished here by a better hand. So we're going to try and be responsible and fold. King Jack wasn't good for us before. Let's give it a try here. King 4 is a very profitable push right into aces because they never have the bottom of the range. They always have the top. And that's a lot of chips. So it's not that many big blinds, but at that stage in the tournaments, 5 big blinds might actually represent a large portion of the total chips in play. So when they wake up with aces, we get super cooked on EV there. So the variance literally contributes to a lower chip EV because we spend so much time late game where the chips are fewer big blinds. So we're kind of running bad while we're running bad. We're like literally running bad when we're running bad there, and we have to push that hand 100% of the time. Hello, Dankel. In for some 2- and 3-handed poker. Welcome. Good to see you. Man, it's been tough, guys. I'm not gonna lie. It's been a really tough year so far. Tough emotionally. Obviously, you know, this isn't gonna... We're not struggling financially here, but very, 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 very long, frustrating run. An extended stretch of literally never winning at Showdown. Not literally. Emotionally. Figuratively. Anyone else have the bad habit of buying video games and never playing them? I have so many that I bought and haven't played. I mean, we spoke about one just this morning, Tony. I don't know if you were here for that conversation. I bought Pillars of Faith when it first came out. It might have even been in early access or something like that. What are we going to do here? Let's do this instead against this player. We'll try something a little bit weird. I'm going to try something really weird here. Okay. Top of the range. Is anyone else surprised that he has kings? Because I'm not. At this point, it's at this point I think it's the only hands that cards, it's the only cards that anyone ever gets. Absolutely top of the range stuff. Ooh, no push with the ace jack. That's a close one for us. X6 gets a walk. That's nice. That time is feeling pretty good. King deuce, definitely a push. Top of the range. Sure. Sure, mate. Yeah. Sure. Sure, makes sense. Sure. Yeah. I'm with you on that, guys. I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that, chat. Just got Baldur's Gate 2 for £1. I mean, the OG, man, that's really good. Danko says, I have that habit. I bought a game early in I bought a game early 90s and never played it. I also have 4 or 5 newer games I haven't played. It's easily done. I mean, especially when you got like Steam and it's so accessible to download a game and just say like, I'm going to play it later. It used to be that, you know, you'd like go out and buy the physical copy. And that obviously was a bit easier because you'd feel like, you know, you'd gone out and invested your time to go get something and then put it in the actual physical console. Right, we have got the bottom of the deck here and we're pretty much committed to any 2 cards at this point. An ace and a queen. Queen and a 4, I don't like it, but it definitely is a go. Ace jack for sure. Come on now. Just a 10 on the turn there. Just turn the nuts against ace jack with king jack. Yeah. Sure. Makes sense. Makes perfect sense. Yep. Sure. Sure. Makes sense. Yeah. Makes sense, my man. Makes sense. Hey, Salandur, good to see you. I don't feel like a short stack specialist right now. Yeah, we're too short to fold that hand there. We just have too much equity. And we have to hope for the best. Let's go. All right, we got a 1-2-5. 4x open raise heads up 10 effective was 10s. Good to know. All right, cool. So this should be another reasonable opportunity for us. We're going to raise aces like a boss. And we are going to start extremely small on this board. Now, ace of clubs in our hand should be reasonably important for us, right? I'm assuming we're just going to keep value betting here. We're not going to fold this hand at any stage. The check on the turn I don't think is as good because our opponents will check back on a king quite often, and that's not what we want. We want more chips in the middle. Keeping it nice and small is usually a good thing. And now ace-9, I'm assuming that we're going to be happy to get this in pre. The call for 5 is a little bit sus, but based on the way this guy just played the button, I think this is the best move. Because he still will fold button there at small blind, I think. Or he puts it in with ace-3. So, very good decision making there. We literally just got it all in with the best hand for the game, more or less. And the guy that limp called ace-3 suited is rewarded. Good game for us, very good for the EV. Just need to, like, win a pot. That was a decent size multi. It was a very good opportunity. Very good decision making. But unfortunately, not good. Not a good outcome. Six is in the middle. I didn't see how short he was here. This is probably a mistake. Calling a min raise here off of that stack depth is not approved. We're probably going to be doing okay, like equity wise. Like, it's probably not the end of the world, but it's just probably not good in terms of playability and stuff. And I think his range is quite strong there too. It was the enhanced edition. There's a cheap cat site I use. They search for. Yeah, no, I've seen. I know some sites that sell old games like that are. What's the famous one? Forgot the name of it now. I know the one you're talking about. Against King of Poker, I think this is probably fine. I mean, it's probably like right on the very, very edge, though. I think as a rule, we take this one out against King of Poker. It's right on the very, very edge of a call there anyway, pre-flop. And then, yeah, we got a calling 2 here. 8-4 of spades, 41% ain't bad. Hey, Nona, how's it going? Checking in from France. Good luck with your session. Thank you very much. It's very kind of you. Fold that one. We're going to fold this one too if he shoves. And then we'll play the King Jack as a push. Seems fair. Seems very fair. Good push, good call, both very textbook stuff. Okay, next game. Don't know the guy on the right here. Against the reg, we'll just play the push with the 10-9. This is like 33% push, 33% raise, 33% call. King Jack of Diamonds, definitely an easy call. I'm gonna chop it on the river. Tony says there's a few Aniba Fanatical Games Humble Bundle. That's the charity one. That's not the one I'm thinking of, but yeah. I am somewhat concerned about this spot here. We're going to call turn. Small blind will end up having like Queen 10 and Jack 10 and that kind of thing, and like suited connectors like 8-9. Okay, I think just the check is still good though. Value bet seems a bit thin. Cool, definitely not approved from the sixes here, but we'll take it. Flat 6-6 SB versus button multi-way 15 effective, something like that. That's enough. I get the idea anyway. It was about 15 anyway. I think we can have a little bet at this turn. Seems good. King 9. This is fine against this guy. Probably do this because he will overfold big blind. Which is very, very good for us in that spot. Pair of 4s. My brain is working this through against the unknown player, and my brain says fold, which is very weak. Very, very weak. But if brain says do it, then I'm just going to follow the rules, and we'll lose the flip for the win. Tough spot there for us again. He wasn't giving me seriously aggro vibes, and on those boards when we do see a bet, it ends up being either tons of equity against our specific hand or we're losing and it's difficult for us to box out of that one, so I really don't mind folding there. Notices how many spinning games do you play a month? So that's a great question. It really depends. Because the majority of my work as an ambassador is to create content, it's not as many as you'd think. When I was playing Spin and Goes full time, that was like 2017-ish, something like that. Around that time, I was playing like 200 games a day, usually about 5 days a week, sometimes 6. So I was playing significant volume back then. That looked a little something like that. These days, the majority of the volume that I play is on stream. I do a little bit off stream to try and get through the 10K games that we're trying to hit this year. So that's the target this year, is to play 10,000 games this year. In terms of like a professional volume, 10,000 games for a professional spin player is like nothing. It's like a drop in the ocean. If I were to cease being an ambassador and I were to go back to playing poker full time, I would need to up the volume and target something in that region. 200 games, 300 games a day, something like that. Okay, we're gonna mark the limp here because this is important. There's really not any value in trapping 5s here in that way. Limp button at multi-way 15 effective was 5-5 trap. So by the end of this year, I hope to have played something in the region of 10,000 games at the $25 stakes or thereabouts. That will include a couple games like higher and lower, but not much. It'll be like 99% of the volume. Technically, it's a fold. Technically. Especially against 2 regs that play well. All right, I'd like to win $125 today. Just the straight min raise. You know what? Fine. 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 Six of spades. Nice hand, buddy. Nice hand. Ace and a 7. This is probably okay. Let's give it a go. Straight into 10s. Nice. Getting lucky feels good. Getting lucky does feel good. And the 6s now. What is it? Something like this. Something like this. And something like this. Something like this. And something like this. Not the best flop for us defending a ISO. I guess we are folding. Okay, so the 6-7 is not an ISO very frequently. You would expect your opponents to bet this board often as bluff, but I don't think we have much of an answer here. Queen high. This might be a float. I don't think it is, though. I think it's too easy for our opponents to bully us in those spots. Too easy for our opponents to bully us here. Jack of clubs, 5 of clubs. All right, I'm guessing we can probably take another check here to try and catch some bluffs, and you know, our opponents should probably start representing hands on turns here a little bit too. Question is, are we going to lead if it comes to club or check? I think we probably lead. We don't get there. Nice, we do manage to catch a bluff on the turn. He has king 3 of clubs. Good thing the clubs didn't come. That was nice. Tony says, have you ever played the Elder Scrolls franchise? Absolutely, yes. I played a little bit of the original game. So Oblivion and whatever. I played a little bit of that when my dad bought it out for his PC a long time ago, but I obviously played Skyrim as well. I played Skyrim so much. Not as much as some people, but still tons and tons and tons. Anyway, $125 is good. $125 is a good thing. Definitely feel okay about that. We just played with Ben a moment ago. That was the guy that flatted the sixes, so we want to be aware of that. And I would say, let's just take a flop here, see what we can do. I think probably against this guy in particular, let's just take the folds. Maybe not finding as many bluffs there as many regs would. Breskor wanted to give us a spin there, you could tell. You could tell he really wanted to. Start with a one big blind bet. Snap call. Okay, interesting. Now, betting the turn here I think is going to be reasonable. I feel like he's going to have a 9 quite often here. I think checking is also going to be fine. I really wanted to bet that turn. Nice hand, buddy. Yeah, it was the speed that he called the bet there. It felt like he had a 9 or a tray. I think we probably should have just gone for it. Against this guy in the big blind, I think we're actually going to just min raise. Seeing as how he's likely to give us more action than he probably should. Have a little trap on the flop with top set. Another trap here. Between me and my kids, we have over 800 hours in Skyrim. I mean, yeah, I don't even want to know how much I played. I definitely played a lot. Nice. We get way more than we should here. He ends up with King Deuce offsuit. That's a hand that he would not call a shove with, so that's a good exploit shove, exploit pre-flop. Can't call here. Can't shove here. Definitely shove this one. Both players have us beat here for some reason. That's crazy. Nona says, "Okay, thanks for your answer. I completely understand that your volume has decreased because you're an ambassador role. Do you only play the 25s these days? Or do you sometimes play higher off stream?" I play a mix of stuff. I would say that off stream I'm playing 25s as well, but not because it's like a bankroll issue. It's more just to do with the fact I'm trying to get through the volume for the 10K challenge that we're doing. If I were to go back to playing spins full time, I would probably play 50s or 100s, but that's also maybe not so true in the new format. So with the new format, obviously it's very, very swingy. Like the amount of poker that you play now, even at the 25s, is so much more than you would have done at higher stakes before. So I'd have to think about it, honestly. To be honest, with spin and goes, especially if they're going to be this merged player pool with the multipliers changing depending on the with the structure changing depending on the multiplier. Honestly, you could very easily put away a ton of volume playing 10s or 25s, no problem at all, right? Like a lot of players that were playing higher stakes came down to the 25s. I mean, a lot of the guys that I'm playing with right now are clearly very good poker players. Spin and goes isn't like tournament poker. It's not necessary that your objective is that you want to play higher stakes, because at the end of the day, spin and goes are like your projected ROI and then the volume that you play. And if you play like, you know, 50,000 10s, or you play 20,000 25s, or you play, you know, it's like however you get there with the highest chip EV is the most important thing, right? A lot of people are like, oh, you know, you play spins, and then somebody's like, yeah, I play 25s, and people are like, oh, so you're kind of still a low stakes player. And you're like, dude, this $25 reg has played more poker than you've ever like seen on TV. Like the amount of money that a $25 spin and go reg can turn over it far exceeds the amount that they would gamble in a year, 100%. But yeah, it's a good question. In response to your question, yes, I do play a higher off stream sometimes just for fun, but this year with my objective, if my objective is to hit 10K, I'm just doing 25s for the sake of the challenge. Generally speaking, when I play poker away from stream, I do tend to focus on cash games, live cash games. I say focus, that's not really a good way to describe it. I play cash games frequently live, and I enjoy them, and I do quite well in them. I don't play that often, to be honest. Not as much as I would have liked. We're gonna try and bet King Queen here. So we're ahead of the clubs. We might still get a 6 or a 3 to fold. The 5 is a somewhat dangerous card, because if we bet this turn, we are going to commit to a shove on the river. And actually, I do want to do that. 9 times. Yeah, we're going to do this. He's going to call the turn. We're going to shove the river. And if he turns up with an ace, I will be very surprised. Oh, okay, interesting. So in that case, turn straight, possibly turn 2 pair, and now we can just get away from our hand. That would be a very interesting spot to have a bluff, I'd tell you. Unless it was a combo draw, which we would have been losing to anyway. But in the higher multiplier games, we obviously have a lot more ammunition to just like quote unquote box out. Let's do a big raise here. Let's do something like this. See if Andrew wants to make a mistake here. Pair of 5s, backdoor spades. I think probably we got to call at least one here. I'd love him to slow down on the turn. Okay. We are definitely suffering in the improving your hand department this year. Let this one go. Play this one as a push. Whoa, small blind snapped it in there. 8-9 of hearts. What are we doing? Chat! Chat, it should not be this hard, I'm telling you. My goodness. Hello, Frank. I prefer reg speed as well, my friend. I absolutely do. I definitely miss reg speed spin and goes the way that they were. I can say that with confidence, because that was my jam for sure. I preferred the slower version, absolutely. Okay, 2 unknown players is nice. this. Let's try this. Let's try this. Definitely a call. We could win a flip once. That would be kind of fun, wouldn't it, guys? Oh, apparently not. I actually don't know this spot. I think we can probably wait one. We're gonna commit any to the next hand though, I think. Yeah. Super domination. It's just not enough big blinds to fold, guys. And we are omega dominated because that's how we run right now. We are not aggregating EV because all of the spots that are meant to be not so good are really bad. They always have us crushed in the stupid spots, and it's very expensive in the long term. It can't continue like this in the long term. It's like literally statistically impossible that they just always have you dominated, but there we are. Okay, that was interesting. They just open shove queen four of spades. Open shove button multi-way 10 effective was queen four suited. Yeah, weird one there. Nine of hearts in our hands. This is an interesting one because we probably should have the best hand a fair amount here, as well as having a decent draw. So it should technically on the river go check check here a fair amount where we have jack high and it's the best hand. Nice value bet with the 7 here on 2 streets. So we ended up having 2 over cards and the flush draw when he does actually end up having a hand here. So still a good call, obviously. We have miles the correct equity in this spot. The 2 barrels from Zelzel is very good, though. I definitely appreciate that move. I think that's nice. That is a good example of a reg getting value where others do not. And I think it's very good poker. That's true, Zintex. That's true. Pocket sevens. Sure, let's go. Dominated for 3 big blinds, 10 deuce of clubs, 100% push at this stack depth as well, by the way, FYI. This is so hard. Why is poker so fucking hard? It can't continue like this. Oh, it can. It absolutely can. Nona says, thanks for the clarification. That's exactly how I see it as well. I'd rather play lower stakes and have a strong chip EV than move up and have an average chip EV. A lot of people think your skill level is determined by your buy and play, but I believe that your buy and choose dependent on your bankroll. That's very wise. This is exactly how you should be thinking about it. Oh. Yes, sorry about that. I don't know why Nightbot did that, Nona. I'll read the rest of your comment here. Nice turn. And also your ability to handle the mental side of, and also your ability to handle the mental side of that stake, since the swings become much more brutal as you move up. In the end, what matters is most is making the best decisions and maintaining a good EV over a large sample, regardless of the bind. I'd say that is textbook great advice. No, 100% agree. Obviously, you know, when it comes to tournaments and cash, it's slightly different because the stake that you play for is a direct indicator or a direct function of, you know, the amount that you can make. Often, I mean, sometimes playing in lower stakes games is better, but you know, obviously, if you're playing too low, that you're not going to make as much as you'd like. Let's try this. But yeah, I think you're onto something for sure. So we're not going to fold the gut shot. We're going to call. If it comes a heart, we're going to lead, I think. So we're going to try and do a lead now. So we're going to start with 2, 8, 9, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That makes sense. And now that we've gotten to this point, I think we're going to commit because we can still have a jack. We can have the hearts. If our opponent calls us with a queen, fair enough or whatever. But I think this is still a nice line. I mean, if they have ace jack and we miss our combination draw and they river trips, then obviously it's a very easy call. But here's a perfect example of a line that's well executed that is immediately punished because not only are we incapable of making a combo draw for all the chips for the 5th time today, we also have to have it miss where our opponent improves in a way where they still call, which is just glorious. It's actually just glorious. It's actually just impressive how bad we run at this point. I mean, not only missing the combo draw, but your opponent also improves in a way where they can still hero call on a river where they would usually fold. Like, we actually absolutely destroy this spot, by the way. We're actually outplaying this geezer to the max. We're legitimately outplaying him to the 9s, and we're just getting absolutely pulverized. Double gut shot, heart draw, no good, huh? We could probably consider barreling turn here, but we have just shown a bluff a minute ago. Let's do this instead. Cool, good bluff. Get called by bottom pair because, of course we do. It's a mid-raised pot on king, queen, ace. Very interesting. Very interesting, sir. Good line though, obviously. Very good line. We've got a combination draw, chat. Yeah, okay, cool. Well, this is the guy that called us with bottom pair on an ace high river just now. Maximus. If our opponent has a king, he's going to win a pot here. If our opponent has a king, he's going to win a pot. So shoving Jack 5 of clubs here is going to be fine. Against this guy, I think we're going to limp it. It could be the case that he's attacking our limps aggressively at shallow stacks, but we haven't learned that yet. In that case, we might consider limp calling a jam here. Guy's a non-believer. We're going to bet big on the river. $100, that's better. Ace 4, ace 4, ace 4. Love this crazy life. Thank you for the good lucks. Hope you're doing well today. Welcome to the stream. Excuse me, chat. Thanks for the exchange. I really enjoyed the discussion. I appreciate you taking the time to read and respond to my comment. Good luck for the rest of your session. Sorry, I don't know why it keeps spamming you, mate. Sorry about that. Good luck for the rest of your session, and please keep creating content. I will, mate. Thank you very much. I'm watching and supporting you all the way from France, wishing you lots of success at the tables with the 10K challenge. Thank you, mate. That's honestly, sincerely very, very nice of you. Let's do this. Middle pair. I'd say we can flat. There's maybe a raise in this turn once in a while. Same hand. This is a raise. Let's raise this to 2.5 as a bluff. And then I would say on this flop, we're gonna bet really big and we're gonna commit the rest if we need to. Hilarious. That's really, really funny. How they do that to you. They just, for some reason, have the same hand, but they also dominate you. Man, we are really good at that, chat. We are getting, I don't want to toot my own horn here, but we are getting exceptionally good at putting chips in the middle with the correct cards and always being dominated. We're getting really good, guys. Like, let me tell you. Let me be the one to tell you guys. Let me be the one to tell you guys how good we are at that, because we are real, real good now. We've become particularly proficient. So ideally, we want him to shove smaller pocket pairs. I don't think we can fold sevens here, guys. I think sevens multi-way we have to call still. Ooh, it's gotta be a call. It's gotta be a call. We can look this one up later on, guys, but this is just gonna be math basically. And I'm almost positive the sevens is going in the middle there. All right, we'll mark that one for review. Dominated twice. Okay, interesting. So we'll mark that hand for review. It's going to be against two players who we have marked in yellow. Like whatever the solver says is the correct answer, because these guys will follow to that very, very closely. I'm going to go out on the limb and say it's probably sixes plus, but it might be sevens plus. I can't remember exactly what it is. There's a problem here. There is an issue we have. The issue that we have is whenever we go all in, we're always dominated. So in situations like this, despite the fact that mathematically we're making a very good decision, we need to just always assume the worst. That's how this year is going so far. The question is, do you run hot at domination rotation? No. It's a solid follow-up though. It's a solid follow-up. This is a very solid follow-up, though. We're going to raise this one to 2.4. Tony has a good suggestion. Nick Walsh t-shirt. Hear me out. I like to be dominated. That is not a bad shout. I think people would go for that for sure. I think people would go for that, Tone. All right, pocket tens. Zell. Zell. We're gonna limp. If he shoves, we're gonna call. Love this crazy life says I'd wear a dominated tee, but only if it comes in leather. That's also fair. It's also very fair. That is also very, very fair. Worst run out ever. Oh, for God's sake. That's a very, very unfortunate run out, isn't it, chat? I can't help but feel like we definitely put in two very nice value bets there. In anticipation of, you know, I don't know, maybe not running awful all the time. Maybe just running awful some of the time. Oh dear. Oh dear, chat. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh dear, 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 dear. Dear me. Me, oh my. Hello, I'm trying to register spin and go. Sorry guys, software is dragging here. There we go. Definitely calling the turn. He's going to have spades. He's going to have straight draws. All that good stuff. There is a decent question as to whether or not he does this on the river. If he does decide to bet, if he does have a 4, you know what I mean? But there we go. We have the correct price to call with a king-queen regardless on the turn. And I do think the lead with on the 4 is just a nice move in general. I actually definitely approve of that one. Ace on the river, baby. Okay. Pocket sevens, definitely not folding. So, good call, bad outcome. Shit, that was not a folds. I distracted myself here. That was a mistake. Definitely should have put those chips in there. For 0.1 big blinds or whatever it was. That was just a misclick. All right, so on to the next one we go. All right. Player on the left is gambling. Player on the right, unknown player. Let's take a free card here. We could have the best hand with king high. We have backdoor diamonds, backdoor straight draw. Sometimes the king is also going to be clean for us. Interesting. I mean, we're going to be ahead of hands like 7/8. You know, I don't know if this is what they're going to do with a 6 of 5 or a deuce, so it does feel like it's going to be quite draw heavy. It doesn't feel like what you would do with a queen. Nice. Yeah, ace deuce not approved. Put the chips in good, to be fair. You can't argue with that. You can't argue with that. You cannot argue they put the chips in good. But should they have done that? We don't know. Seems like a fair question. Let's say we're going to bet both streets here. And we're going to check on the river, and they're going to have a miss straight draw or a miss flush draw, and it's going to be so cool. Okay, so our opponent, I don't think our opponent has an ace. I don't think they do this with a 9 or a 7. They might have a king. There's a chance they have king high, maybe. But I don't want to believe. 9-7 value bet jam. Nice. Very good. Very good. 2 in a row. We do have some notes on this player specifically as well for doing something similar to this. Hey Nick, did you catch Spraggy 1K second chance main final table last night? Was an epic stream. I actually didn't. How did he do in the end? Did he win it? What's up, Patty? Good to see you. We're gonna do this. Thank you, man. I appreciate that, Patty. I hope so too. I hope so too, my man. Winning flips is easy. GG. We tried to be a hero. We tried to be a hero. We were trying to be a hero. Yeah, the 9-7 play as well is very unusual. But on both occasions, they put the chips in good, and you just can't be mad about that at all. It's very hard to be mad about that. Ace high for the win. Okay, all in and close this. Control I. Yeah, okay, we got the notes. He got 6th, I think, or 5th. Nice, nice work, Spraggles. Very good. Nice, good score. Glad to hear it. I love to hear Team Pro doing well in the games. Not too shabby, Spraggles. Right. Strange that he's limping up here. But given the fact we saw him play that King 5 just now, I don't think it matters too much. 7's just got to go here. The old limp call with King 8 of diamonds gets rewarded here. Because, you know, that makes sense. To be fair, if he played his hand correctly, he should be all in anyway, so it would be the same outcome. think we got a bluff again here. Yeah, we're just gonna go for it. Wish me luck, guys. Very fair, very fair. Did strike me as something quite weak there on the 4-3 club board, and we were correct. So we're applying pressure in the right spots as per usual. But everyone is incapable of folding. We're going to do this unbalanced min raise again. And we will get aces all in here. All right. King of poker. King of poker. Nice rebates. Nice rebates. Nice rebates. All right, lucky choice here. Come on. Not as big of a rebate as we would have liked. Let's do this. We put it in good against King of Poker, which is the bigger of the two pots. 15 big blinds there. Nice. Okay. All right, we can win this game today. I believe that we can win this game today.
Put me to the test. To the god of spin, kneel before your king. All in button on my desk. I'll push and I ain't so stressed.
All right, little late game win here would be good. We could get some red line against players like this. They tend to overfold in these positions. And then obviously not fire back versus limp often enough, so we get to sneak in there with some pretty random stuff. When they basically fold their way down to no big blinds in these situations, it's so good for our red line. Yeah, ace trade is very fair here. Queen 6 is 100% push though. We can't be folding Queen 8 really either. You always have it, chat. You always have it. I think Queen 8 is far, far, far too good of a hand to fold, even if we think our opponents are playing a tighter strategy. We can see even in that situation, you know, not good equity, but obviously not catastrophic for the 3 big blinds. Cool. So 2 unknowns. I mean, we know this guy a little bit, obviously. But unfortunately, it's a 2x multiplier. The running 4s. Running 4s, buddy. My goodness. Gonna limp king queen here. We will do this. We're pretty high up in our range right now, so obviously folding flop is out of the question. Once we hit that king, we're feeling pretty good about going broke. Yeah, that's a good hand, mate. Nice hand. Oh my goodness, we are just not having a good time on the spin and go tables recently. Okay, let's take a look at. First of all, we want to have a little note here just in case. Just in case that becomes relevant later, so we're not getting sloppy. We're going to continue to do this stuff. We're going to continue to do the thing. Max says, I think there was a 20 or a 25x. Oh, sorry. Patty's saying, what's the biggest multiplier you've hit since you started the challenge? So last year, the biggest was a 50x. That was over 5,000 games. And we had some 25s and obviously whatever. This year, the highest is a 25x, which first place is a 20x basically. We played 2, we've won 1. We're currently winning something like 58% of the games that are a 10x multiplier or higher. The hair is coming back in nicely. Thank you. How you doing, Magix? I am very much struggling, chat. We really just seem to be on the wrong side of every spot right now. You know, I'm not saying that we don't win some all-ins once in a while, but big pots, big important pots, just unmissable situations, basically. Combo draw is no good. That king-queen spot is just honestly puke-worthy. You know, like, I'm feeling good about having king queen there in general in an ISO pot, but to give us that turn is just, it's just so lame, dude. So lame. Like, are we getting away from that hand? Sometimes, sure. Are we getting away on a king turn? Absolutely not. I might have to go back and play Pillars of Eternity. I've played for 6.6 hours? That seems like way more than I thought. That seems like way more than I thought. So the unknown player bets flop, bets turn. I think we're going to have to be tighter than usual here. That could have just been a very good two-barrel bluff, and actually I approve. I think that's quite good. But if we don't know the player, I think we need to be a little bit more careful in general. A pair and a flush draw. Value bet. Nice. Don't call that one. Not like that. We can trap pocket jacks, I think. Although against this player, this is better. Against this player, we're going to try and push the envelope just a smidge here. Trap this time. Helldivers was good. Should probably go check out Helldivers again. Also, Tactical Breach Wizards was a fun sort of puzzle action game. That was actually a really good one. Played some Hades again. Hades is a good game. Very good game. Never played Hades 2. Hades is good. I do find it quite chill until you get to Hades, because he's actually really hard. I think I've only ever beaten Hades like twice. What the hell happened in this pot? Oh, wow. Slammed it in, huh? Sicarius, thank you very much for the follow. How you doing today? Welcome. Hello, Monfrere. How you doing? Jack high for the win. Oh, bluffing with the best hand. Free flop is nice. I guess we do this. Okay, let's carry on. Coming up to 420 now, guys. Probably going to do a little bit of review at the end of today's session, and then we'll call it quits for today. 2 more streams this week, Wednesday and Thursday, but also, actually, while I'm discussing streams, tonight, this evening, around 7:30 UK, 6:30 UK, I will be joining Carrie Jane on the Hippodrome live broadcast. That was overkill. Sorry, I distracted myself. That's a shove at 15 big blinds effective. It's a min raise at 20. That was a mistake. So myself and Carrie Jane will be streaming pokers this evening. It is the Hippodrome live Lightning Tuesday. It's a poker tournament, not cash. And it should be a lot of fun if you guys want to come and hang out with us tonight, 7:30 UK. Okay, and then here we go. Do we want to fold for a min ISO? I mean, just out of sheer disrespect for the min ISO, we're going to call. Would have been nice to turn a gut shot, wouldn't it? I think we could probably get away with a small bet now. I'm thinking that we could still get him to fold like 8s and 7s and 6s and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's fair. I don't anticipate he folds that hand specifically. Let's do this one. Sakari says spinning go can be so tilting to play. It can be very tilting to play, yeah. This year has been particularly tilting for me, but that's just because we're running bad. We are going to bet at least twice here, and maybe 3 times. $420 Burnham. Max says, I have Hades 2 on Switch. It's grinder but addicting. I did not play the first, kept getting ads on Facebook for the second. I just decided to buy it. I mean, Hades 1 is honestly, for me, like a masterpiece. It's not for everyone, but I think most people can enjoy it. It obviously depends how far you want to go. I used to watch a guy that was really good at Hades, and he would be like clearing the game top to bottom with like all of the hard things turned on, like all the blood packs and everything turned on to make the game even more difficult. All right, we are going to min raise this one. And we are going to assume that the ace basically just isn't there. I think this is probably a better size. And we're just going to keep value betting, I think. I think probably bigger is slightly better here. The spade is a particularly bad card here because our opponent really shouldn't have an ace all that often. But if they have the 5, they'll check the river. So let's do this. Please check. Please check. Fuck me. Oh, this is so tilt. This is honestly just the story of my life right now. He's not going to have an ace that often. I don't think he does this with a 5. So I think we are supposed to fold this river. Oh man, we are running so bad this year. Let's mark the ace for review as well. We'll take a look at that in a second. There's a chance we're supposed to bet bigger on the turn, but I think that the price that we give is probably fine. So we min raise pre, which I think is textbook. The barrel on the flop is probably meant to be 1 big blind instead of 2, but whatever. I'm obviously trying to exploit this guy specifically. On this turn, I mean, maybe we're supposed to bet like closer to 4.5 or something like that, but we'll take a look at that in a second for review. Man, we cannot catch a break here this year. I feel like I'm hitting my head against a brick wall so far. Solander says, can you send a link to Discord when it starts? That's a good idea. Yeah, sure. I'll try and remember. I don't have the best memory, but that's just good practice anyway. I would like to do that whenever we go live there in general. I am so bored of just getting destroyed in this game. This is really, really challenging. Against the unknown player, I'm going to make a very tight fold there. Trap queens. Slender says, do you think you play better or worse when you're streaming? I think I play okay. It probably has a small impact, but because we're only one table leg on stream, it's probably very small. I'd say the one thing that I can say for sure is the times when we choose to stream at the moment, they tend to be more reg heavy, so our results will just be significantly worse in general. I mean, the days when we're playing and we just have 2 regs on it in every game is, you know, we're just not going to win chips in those situations. Basically, nobody will. None of the regs do under those circumstances. Unless you cold deck your opponent, which obviously happens. Oh. Oh, what the hell? Sorry, guys. That was my bad. My bad, guys. Sorry about that. Leroy, 4x is small blinds for some reason. 4x fold would be pretty good for us here. Wow. Okay, that's not good. Definitely can't be doing that. That's probably a mistake. Big mistake. Oh. Just gonna call any two cards here. Price is too good, especially with the dead money in the small blind. Anything even remotely close to 2.6 big blinds with the additional dead big blind is gonna be fine here. And now, Mr. Leroy, we go to war. So we're getting check raised here. This is gonna be a deuce. It's gonna be spades sometimes as well. It's probably a lot more likely to be a deuce though. So we're not folding yet. Confident turn barrel. And now let's see if we can make it work here. Trapping king 7 is nice. Just a bluff on the flop here. Queen 10 obviously needs to be a call at the stack depth as well. Queen 4 definitely could shove here. I think against this guy we can take out some of the variance. He's 9 of hearts for sure. For sure a call. All right, the heads up. The heads up portion of this game. All right, Leroy. All right, Mr. Leroy. Gonna trap ace 10. He likes to lead at these boards when he has a piece, so betting here I think is actually gonna massively outperform than the check. Ace 4 is a call. Well, we were patient. We had him all in with the best hand twice for the win. We'll get another chance against Leroy now. Lemon Drizzy says, chin up, Nick. The upswing is coming, and when it does, it will send you to the moon. Not a question of if, it's when. There's no way around it. Hold strong, mate. Everything is of technical quality. You are a beast. Thank you very much, Lemon Drizzy. That's very, very kind of you to say, mate. That does actually mean a lot to me, dude. Thank you. Sakari says, I myself have been playing casually. I managed to get my bankroll to around 1K. I almost always lose playing spin and go. Most of the time doing better playing tournaments. Fair enough, man. Stick to what works for you. Stick to what works for you for sure. I mean, I don't really know what to do here. I guess we're calling. Come on. On the river. Check, check. He turns up here with 8-9 and we just win the pot, and it's like the easiest thing ever. I really want to call. 2, 3, 4. I really want to call. Chat, I really want to call. I really, really wanted to call. Been a long time. Racial appropriation, you're absolutely right, mate. It's unacceptable, isn't it? So choosing not to check raises here is fine. I think having the queen of clubs is kind of relevant for a check. Dennis will have missed straight draws and stuff here as well, but we kind of want him to have the queen of clubs in his hand. This is a tough one. He could also be value betting a worse 9. That's definitely a consideration. I don't think we can fold this hand. Yeah, he will have a king once in a while. He will have a king once in a while, it's true. He is just that good. Let's play this as a check raise. And let's continue our battle against Danas. All right. On the turn, we have a draw. I can't even describe to you how little confidence I have with, with drawing hands right now. We got Leroy. All right, chat. All right, chat. We're getting raised on the turn here. Ha! Just give me a break. I don't think I've ever made a draw in my life now. I don't remember a time. I don't remember there ever being a time when I actually made a hand. My God. Honestly, even a queen or a 7 would have been something there. Hey, Daniel, how's it going? Nick, you know with the 8-8s on ace 5 3 9 9, is that the middle of your range? Hope you're well. Is that the... I'm not sure if that's the middle. It's actually pretty high up, I'd imagine, Daniel. I'm not exactly sure how to quantify that exactly. The bigger issue that I have with that particular hand is our opponent is so capped to not having an ace, and I don't think that a 5 shoves the river. So they end up having like a flop straight because they are playing, you know, too wide of a range. A random 9 or the spades. The spades being the most probable, I think, of those options. But yeah, that's a good question. I would say 8s is probably pretty high up there, to be honest, given the pre-flop action. Nice. I just honestly, chat, it actually pains me. Actually pains me. If he raises here, I think we got a call. I mean, if anything, we're betting 1 to try and induce to a certain degree. Is he really going to have kings full for the second time in one game? Induce. The induce, the Danas inducer. The Danas Giedres inducerino. All right, this is going to be a 2.5, and then we are going to call a shove if we need to. Queen Jack of Spades, truly majestic hand. Give me Queen Jack over Ace King any day of the week, any single day, even on a Sunday. Two live cards, 10 ball. All right, $100. Let's go. Textbook stuff there. Textbook. I'd like to mark the Queen 9 hand for review. I'm pretty sure we still have to call, but like, it's good to check these things. So we had Queen 9 on King something. No, stupid. Queen 9 is the hand we had. Refresh. Why is it so slow? Daniel says, how's the fitness plan going? Not great, dude. My diet has been pretty good. I have lost about 20 pounds, which is great. My frequency at the gym is not where it should be, but I have had a lot going on, to be fair, which is, you know, there's always an excuse, isn't there? But the other thing is my time at the gym. I've been going back and forth between exactly how I want to sort of structure what I'm doing at the gym. Oh my God, this is so annoying. Where the fuck is his hand? Okay. Okay, well, I don't know how to find it now. Okay, this is Omega Tilt now. Anyway, next game. I'll scroll while this loads. I just realized in hand to note it says you misdraw. All these pots that I lost are just misdraws as usual. Fuck's sake, dude. It should not be this hard to find fucking Queen 9. God damn it. Nope. Excuse me. Okay, hand to note is well and truly frozen. It is just so gross. Like, it's actually not right. The number of times we are just getting it in absolutely crushed again and again and again and again and again. Are you ever folding fours there? Absolutely never. Are you ever missing the opportunity to shove blind v blind in that situation? Absolutely never. Are you going to run into an overpair at the frequency that we've been doing it? No, that's not how that works. It's just not mathematically possible for it to happen that much. Right, Queen 9, here it is. Where the fuck, where's his hand? Super weird. Okay, so we are gambling here. King. Why can't I find this hand? This is so stupid. Okay. What is this guy repping? Is he supposed to have a king? Is that what he's saying? Nice hand. Very clever boy. So Jack 6 for 5 big blinds exactly, all in. Definitely Nash. And they have kings. They can't just have ace 10. It's always the pair. Okay, this is really annoying me now. I cannot believe I can't find this stupid hand. It doesn't make any sense. It should be right here. Okay, whatever. Anyway, it's gone. Daniel says, you are looking fitter, Nick. Last question on the update on your new drink startup company. Great question, mate. So that is still going ahead. Still absolutely a work in progress. Let's do this one here, I think. We'll mark that one for review as well. Oh man, our opponent just has such a big incentive to just check shove there if he has like draw. So the drinks company is going fine. I think we've basically decided that we are going to make it ourselves in our own facility. So it's going to be some time before we actually get that built. But we have a plan, and we should hopefully have something in the next couple months finally ready for sale. Thank you for asking, mate. It is a very exciting prospect. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Me and the guys are very excited to share that with the world. Always the top of the range. It's crazy. Dracos, thank you very much for the follow. All right, cool. After this game, guys, we'll do some review. Okay, let's take a look, guys. So this is today in chips, not a good session. Again, this is a relatively small sample. This is only 37 games. Anything can really happen in 37 games. The problem is it's been more than 37 games, guys. This is everything that's happened so far this month. Sorry, it can't be. I'll show you last month, in fact, because it's a new month, isn't it? So this is last month in chips. We are absolutely fighting for our fucking lives here. If it wasn't for a relatively stable red line, I think we would be absolutely cooked. It wasn't basically until the very end of the month that we even got to break even at Showdown, which is just absolute insanity. Like my entire career, I've never been able to have any reasonably flat red line. And I finally started improving in, there's some of the non-Showdown areas of my game. And I've never struggled to have a winning blue line ever. Like ever, ever, ever. If we filter this instead for chip sum all time, I have never struggled to have a winning blue line ever. I know this isn't blue, purple, whatever this color is. You know what I'm talking about? It's blue and red, because that's what it's always been. I have never struggled to be winning at Showdown, and for some reason this year is just an absolute shit show in that department. And for that reason, we're just not doing very well. You guys will note that at this point, we are something like 50,000 chips under expectation overall. This obviously includes pre-merge and all that stuff. And obviously our edge has decreased alongside the opportunity for us to play reg speeds. So the edge for all players has decreased as we have moved into the new structure in general. But we've been running pretty poorly in general here. If we filter instead for the dates after the merge, so these are all the games that we've played since the Spin and Goes became merge Spin and Go structure. Get rid of the $10 buy-in thing. You guys can see that we are making progress, as in we are winning EV in the long term. However, we're not winning enough EV for me to be satisfied. At this point, I think we're probably at around a 14 chip EV or something overall, which is just not good enough for me. But you can see that at some point, we just stopped winning at Showdown, which includes the missed draws. It includes the, literally shoving blind v blind, and they always have a pair. Getting sevens all in 3 ways, and they both have a pair, blah, 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 blah. So we've done a lot right. We've improved a lot, but just the very nature of the new game is one of very high volatility and also extremely, extremely high variance. And we are eating a particular kind of variance right now, which is particularly frustrating, right? There's a lot of people think that variance is, I was all in with aces and they had pocket fives and they hit a 5. Yeah, that's a form of variance. We're enduring a different kind of variance right now, and this is kind of like, I'm not sure if it has a name specifically, but a lot of players will have encountered this during their Spin and Go career at some point. It's almost like EV variance. Like, you're doing a lot right. Historically, clearly, I know how to play Spin and Goes. We've actually put a fair amount of time into our game to try and improve our skills, and that is showing in other aspects of our game. But we just cannot win at Showdown. And it's very difficult to win at Texas Hold'em if you don't have the best hands some of the time. But this is a variance thing. This was the 50K challenge. So I think until about here is the 50K challenge, somewhere around here. So this would have been our 50K challenge, and you could see that we had a similar thing where we were flatlining for a long time, and then all of a sudden we had this massive burst, right? So Lemon Drizzy actually made the very nice comment that, when you upswing, you're gonna go to the moon. But when you're playing the game well, and you're actually, you have very few leaks in other departments, once you actually start hitting cards, it's pretty hard to lose, man. You're really, really gonna upswing. So at some point in the 50K challenge, we went from here to here. That would have been over the space of a month and a bit. And that was enough to catapult us into a reasonable chip EV, and obviously also catapult us into profit for the 50K challenge. In the 250K challenge, we're obviously still living in this zone here. Now, what I would say is the start of the 50K challenge, we actually were very inexperienced at playing 15 big blinds and below at the frequency that you do in the new structure. We've obviously come a long way since then, so we've plugged a lot of those leaks. You can see that our red line is actually flattening out when it used to be slightly losing. We are certainly heading in a direction where we should be winning a lot more than we are, but we're struggling right now, and we're just kind of stuck in the doldrums. And this is another good reason why I think it's important that people track their results, not just for Spin and Goes, but in general. Like, we can see a clear deviation of you know, an aspect of the game here that gives us confidence that we're not completely losing our fucking minds. In addition to that, we're doing study sessions, and our study sessions are turning up very positive, right? Like, we're actually turning up with the right hands, we're making the right reads, our expectations are correct in many cases, and you know, that's the name of the game. So with that in mind, let's take a look at some review. So this one's dead easy. Before we do this, sorry guys, I'll make sure I close up PokerStars. So PokerStars is now closed. We're going to do a study session, guys, which involves using some technology, which obviously is not for use during play. So now that we've closed PokerStars, we can fire up some GTO Wiz, for example. This will be nice and easy. So this is a pretty straightforward one. It's 6-7 of spades. We're at 14.5 big blinds, but this guy's a bit shorter. This guy's a bit deeper. I believe this comes out and 8-7 suited goes in, but I could be wrong. Let's take a look at the solve. But I think that even though this is a very beautiful playable hand, one of the very annoying things about starting each game at 15 big blinds effective, or most games at 15 big blinds effective, is we don't get to play a lot of those fun hands because we're just too shallow to actually make them work. Cool, perfect. Let's actually take a look. My expectation was 8-7 suited is the cutoff here. 8-7 suited is, 6-7 suited is not. Good check, good adjustment. In the event that you're playing this combination against two unknown players, you can probably still afford to include this hand. When you're playing against two players that you know who are aggressive, you're going to end up raise folding this hand too often. Also, 15 big blinds is an awkward stack depth in general, so you know, we need to be careful about this spot. King Queen all in, and we jam, and our opponent folds, and our opponent has fours and wins. This, honestly, the fact that we're looking up these for review is probably a good indication of the frustration that I'm feeling, because it really feels like we can't do anything right. King Queen is certainly in there. I'd be interested to see what the rest of this range looks like, though. Question from Sicarius here. If I can find it. Can't find it. There it is. Question from Sicarius says, what program do you use for all the tracking? So I'm using Hand to Note, H2N. It is pricier. I think it's actually a really nice bit of kit, but keep your eyes peeled, because actually I've been speaking to a nice gentleman who does join us on stream occasionally, who's developed a very lightweight browser-based tracking system that I think actually might be really interesting for people that want to track without having all the additional bells and whistles that are like more expensive. To be honest, I don't really make the best use of Hand to Note. Hand to Note does very good at tracking. It does very well at this sort of thing, which is good for stream. I can also use Hand to Note to use the Team Boss I also use it for the Team Boss database tool. Database tool is, I guess, a good word for it, which is super good as well. But honestly, for the most part, I'm not using it for the heads-up display and stuff like that. So at least not often. So there might be a better alternative, but there we go. So anyway, the King-Queen push obviously is approved. We were looking at the rest of the range here, though. So our opponent is all in, and this is what we're supposed to be jamming. Let's remind ourselves of the setup here. Oh, I've closed it now. Okay, anyway, this is the setup. So it was 11 jam. Okay, so 19. We're shoving 19 into 29. This makes sense. Okay, cool. So this should just be most pairs. You can actually get away from deuces here completely, which is interesting. This all makes sense. Yeah, there's nothing here that's particularly surprising. That's all good. No, this actually is the hand. We can unmark this one now. Okay, cool. Pocket sevens. We min raise, and there are 2 jams. So this is an interesting one. I know a lot of you guys will feel differently about this. If I remember correctly, and I usually do, I think we're supposed to call with 6s plus here. This is not one of those GTO. This is a GTO thing. This is just going to be math, basically. The important thing to note is both of these guys are regs, so the ranges will be very close to what you would expect from GTO, and therefore my response is going to be very good against these guys if it's close to GTO. So let's take a look. Max's Hands Out does have half off sales certain times of the year. Don't be me and pay full price. Definitely take a look. So pocket sevens is a call. Again, it's not enough for us just to get a double tick and be happy. Like I want to know that, you know, this is going to be 6s plus. That was my expectation. So if we take a look at the range here, it is literally exactly 6s plus, and then of course all that beautiful, pretty stuff up here that you would expect, obviously. So, you know, we're nailing it here. What was the actual outcome of this hand, by the way? It was like they both have a pair or some shit, right? Queens and ace jack. Yeah, okay, great. Pocket eights. We are going to min raise our opponent flats. So this was an interesting pot. Let me play it out for you guys if you missed it. So this guy is an unknown. We can't expect him to always have the correct range here, but the correct range will theoretically contain very little ace combos, like very, very, very few ace combos. They will have a lot of speculative hands. They will have suited connectors that contain a 5. They will have, you know, maybe a 4-3 once in a while. Probably not that often. A lot of players will just fold 4-3 here anyway. They will have spades very frequently. Suited hands will obviously prefer to flat here than unsuited hands. So we're value betting the flop for sure. On the turn, I would say that this is another very clear value bet spot. I choose to go for 3.4. I think there's a good chance that maybe we're supposed to be betting bigger, but we'll find out in a second. Our opponent calls. And when it runs out like this, I'd say that the number of hands that we beat is pretty small, theoretically speaking. Against an unknown player who will probably call with a 5 less frequently on the turn and have way more draws, most of which are going to be spades and not 4-3, for example, which is actually a flop straight anyway. So 4-3 is just the flop straight as well. That's a consideration as well, I suppose. In any case, we check and they shove because, you know, if they do have king high with the king of spades or they do have a 5, they'll just check this river a lot. Let's take a look. The issue that I have with this one is, first of all, I'm not sure about it, so it might be wrong, but the bigger problem that I have with, like, you know, running these hands against unknown players is our expectation of how they play is going to be more accurate than what the solver expects anyway, usually. That's not being egotistical. That's because people are going to behave very differently pre-flop than they're expected to here. But let's take a look. Yeah, it's just completely unsolved. So if we go from the top, we'll see how we go. So obviously the raise to 2 is going to be spot on. Our pre-flop should be very, very good. Once we arrive here, there is a bet. The bet to 3 is actually preferred. So, you know, we are thinking along the right lines. You can kind of do whatever you want here. We choose to bet 2, fine, whatever. On the turn, as expected, I literally said this during the stream. It could be that our turn bet is supposed to be closer to 4.5. We can actually do an experiment in a second as well and just assume that that's the case. Once we arrive here, you know, I think we've gone too far off piece now for the computer to actually give us much more information. So let's take a look. Let's assume that we take the correct line here. Let's say that we do something similar. Let's say that we arrive here. So refresh. This is stupid. Okay, min raise to 2, call. This is the board. I don't want this. I don't want this. I don't want this. I don't want this. Okay, just for the sake of ease, let's just do this. Tony, I know, says 6-7 suited. 6-7 of spades, sure, that makes sense. Pocket 2s, pocket 5s, no. So the one thing I will say is, even though this guy won't really play the ranges as we expect, he will deviate slightly. Pocket 2s and pocket 5s will almost always be all in pre-flop. Like, pretty much everybody knows they have to get their pairs in. If he does turn up with that, fair enough. I'm not saying it's completely impossible, but he's not gonna have sets. People just, it's one of those things where I've played so many spins. There are certain expectations that you can have of people, and there are certain expectations that you can't. The less you know the player, the more likely they are to have hands that you don't expect, but almost everybody will get a pair in there, including aces to some degree. Aces might flat some of the time as a trap, but fives and deuces never. So they never have a boat, basically. The nines shouldn't really play that much of a factor either, so the running nines isn't a thing. But let's assume that we do end up going for a turn. So turn size of, we're going to bet the flop for 2, they call. Turn was the 9 of hearts. And, you know, now suddenly we have pocket eights and they want to bet quite big most of the time. So they're going to bet 3 or 4.5. Let's say that we did go for a 3, for example. And our opponent does call again. The river was the running 9 to the 9 of spades. At this point, they actually just want us to commit as a jam with the eights, which is really, really fascinating to me. Having a spade obviously makes a big difference here, like a huge difference in this case. So having the 8 of spades means that our opponents will have fewer 8-9s. It means that we actually block the spades as well, which means we're probably value jamming against, you know, king highs, fives, stuff like that. This is an interesting line that I wouldn't expect, but this is interesting to see that it does exist. The check is also a thing. In the event that we do check and they jam, however, pocket eights needs to call. So again, once we get this far down the tree, we need to be very careful, right? We can't just skip to this part and go, oh, computer says yes, because there's too many other things that we need to anticipate here that won't happen with an unknown player. Let's take a look at the actual defense range here. So let's actually take a look at what they're supposed to have on this river. So they are still supposed to have lots of king highs. As I said before, almost no aces exist here except for these suited aces that would flat some of the time. This is, if you actually consider that these are aces that get to the river in this way, think about how many combos. This is 4 combos, 4 combos, 4 combos, 4 combos, 4 combos, 4 combos. This is 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12. There's, you know, so many more combinations of ace that don't exist here anymore. So even from a GTO perspective, there is some ace-X that is here shoving for value on this river, which is good to know because it does soften the blow to a certain degree. But I would say in general, this is probably still going to be fine against the unknown player. The 9 brings in the backdoor straight draw. There is no backdoor straight draw. No, it's running 9s. There's no straight with 6-7, Tony. So, this is an interesting one. Let's take a look at the actual whole defense range here. So if we actually look at the summary, filters isn't ready yet. It doesn't have it quite yet. So if we take a look at this, if we kind of take it back to basics here, you can see what I mean about the ace combos, right? Like, this is the expectation. Not everyone will behave this way, obviously, but you can see all these pocket pairs are all in pre, all the small ones. All of these are all in. All of these are all, many of these are all in as well. Well, this is interesting though. So if these are being played as a jam 100% of the time, how on earth are we getting to a river where the big blinds? Ah, wait a second. We messed this up, guys. Check. All in. Here we go. This is why I was confused. I messed up the river, guys. So this is our responsive check. This is the all in, and there you go. But the pocket eights do want to be played as a jam here. This makes more sense. So by the time we get to the river here, our opponents have almost no ace combos. This makes way more sense. I was going to say those suited aces are probably more aggressive at the stack depth. So this is the actual expectation of what the this is what the small blind remains with. This is what the big blind has left. So the amount of ace combos the big blind has is even more reduced than that. So overall, I would say that this is a really interesting one. I honestly don't know what the correct deviation is. It's interesting to see how the computer plays the hand, but again, that's with the expectations your opponents are going to behave correctly pre-flop, which is obviously the point of contention here. In any case, next game, we min raise, our opponent calls. So we bet big and they shove and we call. Honestly, this could be completely wrong. This is a reg, so whatever the computer says is probably going to be pretty good. Okay, so the flop size is wrong, I would assume. There you go. So they want us to go for a 1.5 instead of a 3. As soon as you do that, things change pretty drastically. So let's start from here. Tony says 5, 6, 7, 9. Okay, so what you're saying is has a river straight draw. I mean, the turn may give them a draw. So the turn does give them additional equity if they have like 6, 7. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. So let's assume that we do actually decide to bet 1.5, which is kind of what they expect, and our opponent does choose to jam. A6 is a call. A6 off is a call. Okay. So we can probably assume that once we bet 3, this is probably what we're supposed to be doing, although it's not frequent. Let's just, it should still be in here at some frequency, 100% call. Okay, so yeah, look, it's the size that we chose is very infrequent, but the theory still exists, right? So even in the event that we bet 1.5 and they shove, we're still supposed to call with A6. That means that after 3, this is a mandatory call. So something to learn about the flop size here is we're betting too big in general, but that's still going to be fine. Okay, so that's all for today, gang. We're going to sign off there for today. Just wanted to remind you guys once again that tonight we are doing commentary for the Hippodrome Casino live from Leicester Square. I will be actually remote. I think Carrie Jane will be as well. But there is a poker tournament happening tonight. It's called the Lightning Poker Tournament. I think you can still register, if I'm not mistaken, if you're in the London area. It's a £1,000 buy-in, and we are playing down to a winner tonight. It's a one-day event. It is a turbo. It's a lot of fun. And myself and Carrie Jane will be calling the action. So if you haven't followed the Hippodrome yet, !Hippo in the chat, go and drop those guys a follow, and I'll let you guys know about when we're going to go live tonight. I think it's 7:30 UK. So my broadcast day is ending here on NickWalshTV. However, probably like 7 hours, 8 hours of broadcast this evening as well. So 7:30 till 2-ish, might be later. It's going to be a long night. The tournament day tends to run very long, and it is very dependent on who decides to play the final table and if they're going to do deals and stuff. But it should be a lot of fun. If you enjoy poker content, make sure you check out the Hippodrome. That's youtube.com/Hippodrome Live Poker. And it's also twitch.tv/Hippodrome Live Poker. So go give them a follow. I put some links in the chat just now if you want to go and take a look. Thank you all for your support, guys. I am making a concerted effort to whine less. I know there's been a lot of whining in the last couple sessions. It's just been really tough. This is an extended period of, what I believe to be fairly solid poker. I mean, we're definitely making more mistakes, the more frustrated we become, but I would say generally speaking, we can say that our game is quite solid. Historically, I think we have evidence to prove that that's true. And we just need to keep our chin up, and we need to find another big upswing. If we have another run like this, like we did in the 50K challenge, happy as Larry, we're going to be in a much better position for the overall challenge. We have improved in so many areas that really the last piece of the puzzle is just a little bit of heat in the showdown department. We can't be doing this flatline thing. I mean, to have gone this entire year and basically won nothing at showdown is just insanity. It's not normal at all. That's definitely variance. So let's play through. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. we're going to play some more poker. We're going to try and put some more volume on the overall challenge. I did actually flash the results earlier today, very briefly. I actually try not to flash that because it's not an indication of the overall profitability, including our rewards and all that stuff as well. Also, it's kind of a bummer. It bums me out. So I just want to play through it, and hopefully we'll find some heat, and we'll actually pick up some wins in the not too distant future. So tomorrow, guys, I'll see you again. And if not, I'll see you this evening for the Hippodrome tournament. Signing off.